guys, welcome to yet another video of Chelsea India Roars. I hope all of y'all are doing really well, keeping safe and taking good care of your health. And the madness continues, and I thought in wake of this madness and mayhem that we are doing in the transfer window, I might as well do a video about our top 3 transfer windows under Roman Abravomich. So in this video, I want to rank the top 3 transfer windows that we have had in the last 15-16 years under Abravomich. And I necessarily have not prioritized the amount of money that we have spent. Rather, I've tried to focus more on the impact some of these players have made immediately in the very next season. So without any further ado, here is the ranking, guys. So at number 3, we have the season of rebuilding 2014. Mourinho's second stint at Chelsea, where we had a massive La Liga contingent coming to Stamford Bridge. Diego Costa, Felipe Luis, Cesc Fabregas, and the returning Thibaut Courtois from Atletico. And this was Mourinho's second year in his second stint with Chelsea. The previous year we did finish third on the table, but interestingly we beat both the teams who were above us, City and Liverpool, both home as well as away. One of the classic matches was the Demba Ba goal, the Stevie G slip, as you remember. So this was a big statement for Chelsea Football Club on what the next season was going to bring to us. This also was a season where Mourinho made that infamous jibe at Wenger, calling him a specialist at failure. But in Mourinho's defense, Wenger also made that jibe in the first place by saying that it's teams who are not confident enough, they don't stake claim for a Premier League championship when he was asked a question. So it is perfect for me. Mourinho has always been like that. Pure heart. Don't mess with him. And especially when it comes to press conferences or engaging with media, there is no one. Mourinho is second to none. That's his alley, Wenger. You don't go and try to beat Mourinho at his game. So yeah, pretty happening season. And coming back to some of these players, first we had Courtois. We did loan him out to Atletico for a couple of seasons. Really good experience. We really benefited a lot from that loan spell that we sent him out, and when he came back, we tall, physical, dynamic keeper, and till the time he was there in Chelsea, he did a pretty decent job. The other defender was Felipe Luis. Felipe Luis was a star left back that we also got from Atletico. Decent job, even though the stint was pretty short, but pretty impactful. Again, he was there. He was a part of the next title-winning season for us. Then he again moved back to Atletico, but good signing. Courtois as well as Felipe Luis. But the game changers were the 2 big signings that we made after that. Diego Costa and Cesc Fabregas. And I'll talk about Costa first. Diego Costa was box office in true sense. Extremely physical, dynamic, always playing on the edge. A perfect striker what the English Premier League needs. And I was so disappointed when he had that face-off with Antonio Conte a couple of seasons later. And then eventually he had to go to Atletico because I thought Premier League was right up his alley. Diego Costa was a perfect striker for a Premier League situation. The 2 incidents of Costa which I very, very clearly remember are the matches against Arsenal as well as the Liverpool, and it just blows my brain that Costa in his entire EPL career never picked up a red card. Unbelievable. I don't know how did he manage to do that. If you remember that game against Liverpool, he literally stamped on those players. Chan was one of those players, and again, there was an altercation when he had that with Gabriel Paulista and against Arsenal when we won that game. You remember, and post that match, all the journalists, they were on to Mourinho, and Mourinho said absolutely not. He was the best player. He was the best player on the field, and he actually went back to the journalist and said that your favorite sport must be badminton. You can't handle a little bit of action in the football field. Oh, that was hilarious. So Costa gave us a couple of really good seasons, one with Mourinho, one with Conte. Unfortunately, he was never the same for Atletico after that. And coming to Cesc Fabregas, pretty much at the fag end of his career, when we bought him from Barcelona, he came to Chelsea. But thankfully, he had 3 wonderful years in him. And in those 3 years, he helped us win 2 Premier League titles, one with Mourinho, one with Conte. And what a fantastic partnership he had with Matic. with Matic in that particular season. His link-up play with Costa, Hazard, Chilwell was something that we have not seen before. It was incredible. He was such a different player. Chelsea had some great midfielders then, like there was Massacre, as we used to call them, Hazard and Oscar and Mata, and eventually now we don't have any of them. But what Fabregas brought in the dynamics was completely different. Fabregas, once again, a great signing. So 2014 was an excellent year from a transfer window standpoint. Two standout transfers from that season was Costa and Fabregas, and what impact did they make? And featuring at number 2, I would rate this current season second best in the Abravomich era. I know I've discussed enough about the signings that we have made and how incredibly happy I am with all the Chelsea board, including Abravomich, is doing this year. But this definitely needs a special mention. Players like Ziyech, Werner and Chilwell, Thiago Silva, and we now got Kai Havertz, and we can still get a keeper in some time. We are talking about Declan Rice. So some of these players are really good, and there's a stark difference between the kind of players that we were getting in some of the previous seasons versus this. So I would rate this season as number 2. All these new signings makes me really happy. I'm really happy with how generous the board has been, the way they have backed Frank Lampard up, and now it's completely up to Lampard what he can do with this young bunch of talent. But I'm excited about this team. But at number 1, guys, the best transfer window that we have ever had, according to me, is the 2004 transfer window. The transformational year where we got 11 new signings, but more than the players, the biggest of them all was the manager himself, Jose Mourinho, the Champions League winner from Porto. He was coming to Chelsea. There hasn't been another season like 2004 and 5. As I said, it was the transformational year for us, and from then we have just kept building on to a team, and we have gone ahead and won Premier Leagues, we have gone ahead and won Champions League, we have literally won all possible European championship, and that was only possible because of that magical year and the magical signings that we did back in 2004. The very first signing, Mourinho himself, and what a move it was from Roman Abravomich. A Champions League winner with Porto, straight away we got him to London. And in one of the most iconic moments in Chelsea football's history, the very first press bite that he gave, Mourinho declared himself as the special one. And boy, the way he backed that up, goosebumps. Confidence Mourinho still has. I'm telling you, like, Mourinho is 100% box office. You should go ahead and see any of Mourinho's press conferences, irrespective of the club. I'm telling you, when he was manager of Manchester United and now he's managing Tottenham, it's so much fun just to watch Mourinho. Premier League without Jose Mourinho is incomplete. We'll have to take that. And he didn't come alone. He didn't come alone from Porto. He got a couple of really good battle-tested defenders in the form of Ricardo Carvalho as well as Paulo Ferreira. Centre-back as well as full-back. Couple of great Portuguese defenders whom Mourinho had managed in the past and he thought would be a perfect fit for Chelsea, and what a partnership it was with Terry and Gallas already there, and that was a backline with Terry and Ricardo Carvalho as the two centre-backs and Gallas and Paulo Ferreira as the two right-backs. One of the best back fours that we have had ever. I would only replace maybe William Gallas, like Ashley Cole coming in. That could be the only upgrade, I would say. But Gallas, those 2 seasons, 2004 title-winning season as well as 2005, was magnificent. He was such an attacking player. So these 2 signings like completely changed our defensive unit, and this is the reason why our defense was so fundamentally strong. Now, one thing to notice there was Abravomich was in a full mood to spend more. If you remember the previous season with Claudio Ranieri, he spent a decent amount of money then as well. And he didn't want to stop. He wanted some of the best European players like Fabio Cannavaro and Andrei Shevchenko, which eventually we did get Shevchenko after a couple of seasons. But Jose's philosophy was different. He was looking for substance more than style in his team. And Drogba was the finest example of that. The Ivorian striker, what a legend. Like, he's a legend today, and to be very honest, we have never been able to fill up that gap which Drogba had. And when Drogba came in to Chelsea, he was not a very big name. Not too many people knew him. But what a player eventually he turned out to be, and always there, always scoring. I don't remember Drogba not showing up on any of the big occasions. He was a player meant for big occasions. be it Wembley, be it the Champions League final. And that is why I feel Drogba was very different from some of the other strikers of that era. A lot of people compare Drogba with Thierry Henry, but when it comes to having an impact, why I prefer Drogba is the big matches. He always used to show up. Like, look at all those FA Cup finals against Arsenal. Look at the Champions League final against Bayern when all hopes were lost. All hopes were lost. Drogba, the header that he had, he literally twisted his head to score that header. That was the kind of player. Pure passion. He was Chelsea through and through and such a legend. I'm so happy that we got Drogba in the transfer window. And along with them, we also added a couple of really young players then. It's hard to believe they were that young then, like it makes me feel old. We had young Petr Cech and young Arjen Robben. The two young players that we got in the 2004 window, and what an impact they had, what a significant impact they had. Petr Cech had a much longer career with Chelsea. Arjen Robben had a shorter career but a very impactful. It was curtailed by a bit of injury, but two great signings. Other than these two, we also got Matthias Kisman, we also got Thiago. Matthias Kisman, by the way, he looks like this right now. I saw this picture on the other day on Instagram. This is how he looks, but again, like there was a lot of promise from Kisman back then. Unfortunately, he was more of a flop show. It didn't work out that well for Chelsea. But these were the signings. Chelsea spent 90 million back in 2004. Now that you think, it's almost like 16 years back. Today 90 million is just getting one player like Havertz, but back then 90 million got us some 11 solid players, and players like Drogba and Petr Cech and Arjen Robben and Paulo Ferreira and Ricardo Carvalho. Some players who went on and had such a successful careers, and that's why I feel like this was one of the best transfer windows that we've ever had. I have huge hopes from this current transfer window also. I hope that all these signings that we have made this year, they end up becoming really successful players, have successful careers at Chelsea, and maybe in retrospect when I talk a few years later, maybe I can have this current window a notch up from the 2004. But as things stands, I think 2004 has been one of the most impactful transfer windows, and one of the reasons why we were able to displace the invincible Arsenal team, who back then was very good. Arsenal back in 2003-04, oh my god. Thierry Henry, Freddie Ljungberg, Dennis Bergkamp, young Cesc Fabregas, oh my god, what a team they had, But again, like it's only because of some of these dynamic signings which Chelsea made, we were able to displace a team like Arsenal and have two successful runs back in 4 and 5 and 5 and 6. So this is my top pick, guys, and I would love to hear from you guys. Like, do comment what are some of the highlights of the transfer windows that you all feel Chelsea has seen under Abravomich. I have tried to stay away from some of those big numbers, like when we bought Shevchenko, when we bought Torres, because they didn't end up being that impactful when it came to matter of results. So, but do share your comments for what you all feel, like what else could have been in the list, and what do you feel, more importantly, what do you feel about this current window? Does this excite you as Chelsea fans, and how do you think next year would shape up? Thanks again for being a part of another Chelsea India Roars video. I would really appreciate if you go ahead and subscribe to my channel so that it encourages me to make similar videos for you. Again, I hope all of you all are having a wonderful day. Take good care of yourself, guys. Take care. Cheers. Blue is the color. Bye-bye.